Get your reactions ready. The live portion of the show will begin in just a moment. Today is Monday, August 28th, and it's a battle between the Yankees and the Tigers in Motown. Luis Severino was on the mound and he was trying to lower his ERA below a touchdown. My recap, your reactions coming up next. This is NYY Recaps.
Welcome to Yankee Stadium.
Just when they thought I was out, they pull me back in.
All right. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. Yankees picked up a win tonight. Doesn't mean much in the grand scheme of things, but it's always nice to put a W in the win column. Second game in a row that Luis Severino has thrown the ball exceptionally well. His fastball was absolutely electric tonight. Best we've seen from him in probably 2 months. Too late? Maybe. Definitely. But it's good to see the old Sevy. Only allowed 5 hits, no walks, struck out 8. Look, not a great team he's facing, but it's a positive that he can take away. And he's really auditioning for other teams, I think, at this point. I doubt the Yankees will bring him back. He's expressed frustration with the Yankees management multiple times in recent years. And I think they'll offer him a 1-year show-me contract. They're not going to offer him a multi-year contract, not after how the last one went. But I think he'll get 2 or 3 years from somebody. You know, with as much as Jacob deGrom is injured, somebody gave him a 5-year deal. I have a hard time believing somebody won't give Severino 2. Every good start that he makes down the stretch is potentially worth millions of dollars. So nice job for Severino tonight. Got the ERA down to 6.64, so he's still higher than a touchdown, but not quite the extra point. Another action-packed offensive explosion for the Yankees. Look, the lineup the last couple of days, I want to get some more light in here, has been frustrating, to say the least. You got yesterday Everson Pereira hitting cleanup when he's got 2 hits in his entire career. And then today against a mediocre right-handed pitcher, you got 8 right-handed hitters in the lineup. And the only switch hitter was Oswaldo Cabrera, who really hasn't done much this year. So it can be frustrated. And tonight, they were just useless for the first few innings off of this guy. They made Olsen, who has an ERA over 5 even after tonight's game, 2-6, look like a Cy Young pitcher. First 8 outs that the Yankees recorded were strikeouts. It's almost funny at a certain point. Loaded the bases in the top of the first. Volpe struck out to end the inning. And then it was pretty much strikeout after strikeout after strikeout until Gleyber Torres brought in the first run of the game with a double. Dominican American says Sevy's not deGrom. That's a given. But Severino's had good stuff in the past. I mean, you look at his numbers last year, it was like a 3.18 ERA or something. Yeah, he's been injury prone, but when he's out there, he's almost always effective up until this year. This year, it's been a completely different story, but maybe he's turning it around. Fastball had that good zip tonight, better than we've seen since really the Reds game that he threw earlier this year. Top 7 Yankees broke out their specialty solo home run. First, Aaron Judge.
That ball is high. It is far. It is gone. A Judgy in blast. Oh, rise.
29th home run of the season for Mr. Aaron Judge. Look, he had a really tough series against the Rays. And his first couple of bats tonight were just miserable-looking strikeouts, too. But he'll do that. He'll go through stretches where he's swinging at that slider, but once he gets in that point where he can lay off of it, he's as dangerous as anybody. And he's still got a chance to get to 40 home runs despite missing practically 2 months of the season. That's unbelievable. Next batter was Gleyber Torres.
There it goes. That ball is high. It is far. It is gone.
Jeffrey says if you re-sign Severino, he'll probably slip on a banana peel and break his arm. Hope not. I look, if I were the GM, I would not re-sign Severino despite his little bounce back right now. I mean, he's just been so injury prone over the last few years that I just don't think you can rely on him. I think we need to go with some, younger guys who are less injury prone. The game is shifting that way. Oswaldo Cabrera drove in the 4th run of the night. In the 8th, his 2nd hit of the night. So good night for Gleyber Torres. Good night for Oswaldo Cabrera. Good night for Aaron Judge. Loaizaga looked fantastic out of the bullpen tonight. Clay Holmes erased the shutout. He allowed a home run to Akil Baddoo in the bottom of the 9th. But the Yankees hang on to win Game 1.
Ball game over. Yankees win. Yankees win.
Looking at the belt votes here.
You're a winner.
I think it's a pretty unanimous decision tonight. We're going to go with Mr. Luis Severino.
Bet winner.
J Luck 243 says Pereira has been disappointing. Look, he doesn't have a clue on a slider, and he can't lay off of it. That's disappointing, to say the least. Hopefully he'll come around. I mean, it's been a week, too soon to judge the guy. But they're testing him with sliders right now, and he's shown that he's not ready for it. Luke says, how do you feel about Rodon, honestly? I like his makeup. I like how he got into trouble yesterday and turned it on and settled in. He's got the guts. But chronic back issue has me worried. I'm not going to lie. The stuff is a tick down from last year. Just a tick. And when you're talking about a guy who relies on like the high spin rate and, throwing 98 at the top of the zone, when you lose just a tick or two, guys foul it off instead of swinging through it. And it can be, it can be troublesome to have a back problem. Let's just say that. Joseph Bazanarik says, any truth that Jason Dominguez could be called up by September? Dude has been on fire since being called up to AAA. I don't have any inside sources on that. I follow Dominguez closely, and he's hitting .478 with 10 RBIs in his first 7 AAA games. Every exit velocity that we've seen has been triple digits. He's hitting the ball hard from both sides of the plate. Shelly Duncan, the manager, alluded to the fact that he's been getting the Yankees' attention. He said, I believe the quote was, and I'm paraphrasing, the week he just had was not only turning heads here in Scranton, but also in New York. So that leads me to think that there's been some kind of discussion, and look, I would love it. I'm going to a couple of games next month, and it would be amazing to finally, get to see Jason in person. I haven't seen him in person yet. So, anyway. Richie says, we have 2 Oswalds. I just can't. You're right, you can't. We have Oswald and we have Oswaldo. Those are 2 different people. Let's see here. Joseph says, Holmes is not a closer. I agree with you. I think he's best in middle relief. Now, tonight wasn't even a save situation. It was just, came in and get the final outs. But I agree with you. I think he's much better suited to throw ground balls in the 6th and 7th innings. And I like to have that overpowering guy in the 9th inning. I like to have somebody with the makeup of, frankly, the makeup of somebody like Severino. I think Severino would be a great closer if he were willing to do it. But, obviously, he's had trouble in the 1st inning this year. So, that's not what you want out of a closer. But I'm just talking about the mentality, the stuff. I like Ian Hamilton. I think if he gets a little bit better, he could develop into a closer. Problem with Jonathan Loaizaga, even though I think he's got some of the best stuff, not only on the staff, but in the league, is he gets hurt too much. You can't throw him every day. So the Yankees have been going with Holmes because he keeps the ball on the ground for the most part, but tonight, obviously, not the case. Anyway. Zion Stunna says, not only did we play on a Monday, but we won a game. We almost never play on Monday. That's interesting. All right, let's take a few more comments. We're going to switch over to the game time screen. NYY Recaps is sponsored by Game Time, the fastest growing ticket app in the world. Download the Game Time app to your phone or other smart device, or visit gametime.co to get last-minute tickets to all your favorite types of events. Baseball, sports, comedy, theater, you name it. You can find it on Game Time. Use the code NYY Recaps for $20 off your first purchase. Game Time, lowest price on last-minute tickets guaranteed. All right, so here's what we want to do first. I want to go through the box score real quick and just kind of take a look at the 7 hits the Yankees put on the board tonight. Obviously, Judge with the home run, 2 hits for Torres, 2 extra base hits. He's got that OPS creeping up towards 800. It's at 780 right now. Stanton 1 for 5 with 3 more strikeouts, hitting 202. I tell you what, offseason priority number 1 would be for me to figure out what we're doing with Giancarlo Stanton. Can't have him back in the same role. He can't run the bases, can't play the outfield, strikes out an unbelievable amount, only hits 200. Not worth it for the home runs. I'd figure out another way to make up those home runs, those 25 to 30 home runs a year. You can do it. IKF, giving him protection in the lineup tonight, playing center field, 1 for 4. Bader came in for defense, went 0 for 1. He's hitting 242. And after this, we're going to take a look at 3 guys on StatCast and just kind of look at their StatCast numbers for the year. Jeffrey Cole with the Super Chat says, keep up the good work. Appreciate that. But we're going to take a look at Harrison Bader, Gleyber Torres, and Anthony Volpe. Pereira 0 for 4, Volpe 0 for 4, Cabrera 2 for 3, and Higashioka 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Hat trick. And then, we already talked about the pitching. So let's switch on over to Harrison Bader. So when I looked at this, I couldn't believe it. His average exit velocity is in the 5th percentile of the league. That is horrible. And his hard hit percentage is in the 14th percentile. You think back to what he did in the playoffs last year. He was so good. And the Yankees have somehow screwed this guy up again. He's been on the field for the most part this year. I mean, you look, he's had 302 plate appearances. He had, some time on the IL early this season. But I don't see, let's see, how many games has he played? Take a look. He's played in 82 games. He's only got 7 home runs, only hitting 242. I think, as much as we like Harrison Bader, his defense is all in the red. 95th percentile, outs above average, and jump is 89th percentile, good arm. There's a lot of things about him offensively that just disappointing this year. The walk percentage only in the 4th percentile. He's got a low on-base percentage. I just don't know if you can count on giving this guy $60 or $70 million to come back. And I don't think he'll take less than that. So he said he would do it for free, but his agent didn't say that. Let's take a look at Gleyber Torres. His numbers pretty solid. And you look at the spray chart. This is what you love to see. Hits from line to line. A lot of hits in the middle of the field. Power to all fields. For as many bonehead plays as he has, he's been a pretty damn good hitter this year. And he's still only 26 years old. I think he'll be back. We've talked a lot about whether or not the Yankees would move him. The fact that he's cut down on his strikeouts while still hitting for a decent average, decent power. Not a great second baseman by the StatCast metrics. 39th percentile of outs above average and 9th percentile in arm strength. Now, the arm strength only comes into play when he has to gun it from a relay standpoint, going like he made a throw to third base and so forth today. I think he's got a better arm than that. He just doesn't need to throw it that hard. Second base, you see a lot of times guys with weaker StatCast numbers, but hit his 21st home run tonight. And we're going to take a look at Anthony Volpe. Now, the StatCast numbers for him are down a little bit, but, you look at that spray chart, power to all fields. He hit that grand slam to center field earlier this year. You see him hitting the ball down the line a lot. Outs above average, 80th percentile. So the metrics love him on defense. Sprint speed, 80th percentile. Top 20% of the fastest players in the league. But the offense has been disappointing. Exit velocity below average. Hard hit percentage, a little above average. Barrels the ball up a little bit more than average, but the strikeout percentage, awful. So, hard to get a judge on, what to say at this point. It's been 5 months. I'm still optimistic Volpe's going to be a good player. I think Harrison Bader's somebody that you let go in the offseason. Gleyber Torres, I think, is coming back. And I think we're going to face a decision with Severino. What are other teams going to be offering him? And how does he feel about the Yankees organization? Hirsch for Real says going to be a lot of competition for Yamamoto. Yamamoto has unbelievable numbers. I'm going to see if I can find it real quick. In Japan, his number, I believe he's got like a sub-2 career ERA. Let's put his numbers up. All right. So this season, we're going to hide partial rows here. 24-year-old righty. He is 13-5 with a 1.34 ERA. Wow. 135 strikeouts in 134 innings. 20 walks, just 2 home runs allowed. 0.896 whip. Career whip, 0.922. You see kind of when I'm looking through the numbers that I go to first. I like to look at how many base runners does he allow, how many guys strike out, how is he with command, the walks, and everything is fantastic across the board. You hear he might be the best pitcher ever to come out of the Japanese league. He's 5'10", so not a huge guy, and he just turned 25 11 days ago. So happy birthday. Definitely want to see the Yankees go after him. Jerry Cadil says, how about Blake Snell? I've always liked Blake Snell. I mean, he looks like he should be selling pills behind a 7-Eleven or a Motel 6, but he's a good pitcher. Got a good curveball. If he can successfully transform himself into a crafty lefty, hey, that's what the Yankees need. Steve-O says, Yamamoto plus Bellinger plus Dominguez would make a pretty good team. I still think they need more. I think they need a closer. I think they'll re-sign Middleton. I think he'll come back. He's another guy that you could probably transform into a closer. His StatCast numbers are really good. So, all right, let's wrap it up, guys.
Game over, man. Game over. I gotta get out of here.
We are in the precarious position and the unfamiliar position of being out of it on August 28th.
You gotta go.
And
Most impressive.
these podcasts, I just want to give you guys a fair warning. As we get, there's about a little over a month left in the season, the recaps are going to be different because, frankly, the games don't matter as much. So I'm going to be focusing more on the individual performances, the performances of our rookies. We're going to talk a lot more StatCast review type stuff. And then when the Yankees are eliminated, which will happen probably in a couple of weeks, whenever that does happen, I'm going to release the postmortem. It is finished. I left room to go in there and edit it if something else happens, if Dominguez gets called up or whatnot. But it's 35 minutes long. We've got Pete in there. We got clips from Bronx Pinstripes. We got Mike Francesa. We got Michael K. It's going to be like a montage and some narration and some stats and some highlights, just to kind of review everything that's gone wrong over the last couple of years. We talk a lot about the germination point of this germination point of this this whole disaster, which is, in my view, the Stanton contract back in 2017. So, I mean, as much as you don't want to look forward to the Yankees getting eliminated, I think it's a pretty comprehensive video. So, anyway, we're gonna continue to talk about StatCast stuff as we go through the next several weeks. We'll do a few people per night. So let me know in the comments who we want to look at tomorrow, and we'll kind of break down what kind of season these guys have had. Unfortunately, for a lot of players, just been a tough year. Again, check out the Game Time app or go to gametime.co. Also, check out the store, NYYRecaps.shop. You can get hats like the one I have now. You can get T-shirts, hoodies, coasters, mugs, and we're going to be doing a lot more merch this off season. We're going to have a whole month extra to work on that type of stuff. So, if the Martian gets called up, we're going to have a lot more Martian stuff. If one of these other rookies gets going, we're going to have more of those guys' stuff. So stay tuned. I'll see you next time.
Ball game over.
most impressive.